Namah Shivaya children, welcome to the Amrita classes. In the previous chapter, we read about how the struggle for democracy was linked to the demand for universal adult franchise. This principle has now come to be accepted almost all over the world. Yet there are many instances where there is denial of equal right to vote. In Saudi Arabia, women do not have the right to vote. In the same manner, in Estonia, here it has made its citizenship rules in such a way that people belonging to Russian minority find it difficult to get the right to vote. In the country Fiji, the electoral system is such that the vote of an indigenous Fiji has more value than that of an Indian Fijian. Democracy here in Zimbabwe, if you see, has attained independence from the white minority in 1980. Since then, the country has been ruled by ZANU-PF, the party led the freedom struggle. So here there was a ruler called as Robert Mugabe. This Robert Mugabe has been ruling the country since independence. Now here he used to use many unfair practices when he was contesting the elections. Over the years, his government has changed the constitution several times to increase the powers of the president and make him less accountable. The opposition party workers are harassed and their meetings are disrupted by this leader. Public protests and demonstrations against the government are declared illegal. So there is a law that limits the right to criticize the president. So like this was his rule. There was media, that is the television and radio. The television and radio here were controlled by the government and give only the ruling party's version. There are independent newspapers, but the government harasses those journalists who will go against the government. The government has ignored some court judgments that went against it and has pressurized the judges. So the example of Zimbabwe shows that popular approval of the ruler is necessary in a democracy, but it is not sufficient. Popular governments can be undemocratic. Popular leaders can be autocratic. If we wish to assess a democracy, it is important to look at the election. But it is equally important to look before and after the election. There should be sufficient room for normal political activity, including political opposition in the period before the elections. Now, so here we shall read more about this in the next chapter. Both these aspects give us the fourth and final feature of the democracy. So what is that? Means in a democracy, each adult citizen must have one vote and each vote must have one value. Another feature is a democratic government rules within limits set by the constitutional law and citizens' rights. Let us summarize this discussion on democracy. We started with a simple definition. What was that? Yes, that is, democracy is a form of government in which the rulers are elected by the people. We found that this definition was not adequate unless we explain some of the key words used in it through a series of examples. Do you remember the examples of the countries like Pakistan, Chile, Mexico? So we worked out the 4 features of democracy as a form of government. Accordingly, democracy is a form of government in which rulers elected by the people will take all the major decisions. Elections offer a choice and fair opportunity to the people to change the current rulers. This choice and opportunity is available to all the people on an equal basis, and the exercise of this choice leads to a government limited by basic rules of the constitution and citizens' rights. So, like this, we have summarized the definition. Which was the definition? Democracy is a form of government in which the rulers are elected by the people. Now, after this, we shall study in the next content about why democracy. Why should a country have a democracy in the next class, children? That's all for today. Namah Shivaya.